Welcome. Welcome to this place of peace, justice, and hope. In this Unitarian Universalist congregation, we affirm that no matter who you are, who you love, or where you are on your journey, you are welcome here. For those of you joining us online, we are so glad you're with us. If you're visiting us today, we invite you to sign our visitor's book, which is in the living room back there. And if you would like to join us for coffee hour downstairs, feel free to take a green mug so that we can be sure to greet you. Also, members and friends, to help folks connect, remember to wear your name tags with your pronoun stickers. If you need a new name tag, see the visitors table in the back. I am Susan Morrison Hebel. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm pleased to be with you today as your worship associate. Our music today will be provided by Jamie Passman and the Celebration Singers, directed by Julia Beckman. We recognize that individuals of all ages and abilities have different needs during the service. In the living room at the back of the sanctuary, we provide a cart of fidgets and drawing supplies. So if at any point you feel a need for movement, please feel free to get up and grab a fidget, engage in drawing, or stand or sit on the floor in the living room. There are also some different types of seating available in the back of the sanctuary. Please see a greeter for assistance if needed. May you each know you are welcome in this house of peace, and may our worship and fellowship this morning touch your heart, mind, and spirit.
Thank you, Susan. I'm the Reverend Dr. Beth Johnson. My pronouns are she, they, and I want to add my welcome to that of Susan's. I'm a little bit sick today, but I don't think I'm contagious, but I'm still going to wear my mask, and I'm not going to shake your hand, and I'm not going to hug you, but you just consider yourself hugged, shaked, loved, any old way. So we'll begin this morning with our land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we in the western suburbs inhabit areas that are the traditional territories of indigenous peoples, including the Kickapoo, Peoria, Kaskaskia, Potawatomi, and others. As people trying to live into a more just world, we have a responsibility to acknowledge the history and legacy of colonialism, the harm done to Native peoples, and also to work to repair that harm. And we will not ignore Native American Heritage Month when it occurs later this year. I guarantee you that. I am so glad that you're here. I say this often, that I marvel that on Sunday mornings, you have to get up relatively early, not as early as some of us do, but certainly early, when it's a day, on a cloudy day where you could sleep in and cozy down. But we come. We come because community is important. We come because we know in gathering together, we nurture our spirits and we help heal the world. So I'm so glad you're here, and we're going to sing about being glad here. Our opening song is I'm So Glad I'm Here. I'm going to invite you to rise in body or spirit and sing.
So glad I'm here.
Indeed. I have to tell y'all, it was really hard to sing in a corner. I'm just trying not to spread my germs. Invite us into worship this morning with words by Tess Baumberger. This place would be less beautiful without you. Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, Jew, Hindu, humanist, earth-centered too. This place would be less beautiful without you, your heart honed by hardship, grief, and illness, seeking solace and comfort among us. This place would be less beautiful without you, and you, and you, and you, filled with joy and gratitude, seeking celebration of life's bounty. This place would be less beautiful without you. Curious, inquisitive, asking questions, seeking transformations, emerging from within. This place would be less beautiful without you. Striving to resist a world that tells us we are so much less than we can truly be. This place would be less beautiful without you. Each of us born here this morning to seek heaven's fire in each other's souls, our own flames rising to meet. It is good to be together. So what brings us together but love at the center? Now, some people say, what is love? Love is just that all mushy thing. It doesn't really mean anything. Don't you say you love your cat? And I'm like, yeah. And but then don't you love your family or your partner? Yeah. But then you often say that you love the world. Is it all the same love? And what does it mean to have love at the center of our faith? It means all those things. It means that we love the individual. It means that we love the collective. It means that we love beyond belief. So I do talk a lot about love, and in our values depiction, we have love at the center, because what would happen if we put love at the center, beloveds, of this life, of all that we do? So I couldn't think about love at the center today without having us sing about love. This song is love, let's love, let us serve, let us honor one another. And there's some hand movements I'm going to show you now. Let us love, let us serve, let us honor one another. Yes, and I'm going to have some help with this. I'm going to step down so I can sing close to you, but I'm going to put my mask on. And I'm going to invite you to rise in body or spirit and let us love, y'all. Who got that love thing down?
Our chalice lighting words are by Pat Uribe Lichty. We come from many places, along different paths, bringing different truths. We come with different histories and different realities, and yet we come together as one people, with faith that we can use our differences to heal ourselves and each other, to bring wholeness to a fractured world. We come seeking to find community, to find acceptance of who we are. In this place, we may find others who are much like us and others who are much different. May our lit chalice remind us that we are a people taught by different stories with many voices, but always one people, working for a world where love creates justice, and justice gives birth to peace.
Good morning. I'm excited to share this story today. I just think it's super cute. It doesn't have a lot of words, but there are some really great illustrations. It's called The Big Umbrella by Amy June Bates. By the front door, there's an umbrella. It's big. Wait till you see how big it gets. It's a big, friendly umbrella. It likes to help. It likes to spread its arms wide. It loves to give shelter. It loves to gather people in. It doesn't matter if you're tall or hairy or plaid. It doesn't matter how many legs you have. Some people worry that there won't be enough room under the big umbrella. But the amazing thing is, there always is. I want to be under that umbrella. All right, we,
Kids are staying.
yes, I was just surveying the faces.
Yes. Okay.
I think I'm gonna stay for the song. And then don't sing me out, I'll just leave when the song's over.
We kind of do want to sing you out. I'm glad you're staying for the song, and whatever young or young at heart are here who can hear this. This month's theme is living love through the practice of inclusion. And Julia picked out a wonderful song, especially now as we're thinking about what it means to belong. The composer is Andy Beck, and Andy has a wonderful explanation of the song. And why don't we hear from the composer?
Composer Andy Beck here to give you some background about the song Each and Every One. This song was commissioned by a school in Evanston, Illinois in 2019. The director wanted to create a piece to send the message to singers that they all have an important place in his choir. Doesn't matter their background, their race, their religion, their gender, what have you, everybody fits in. Now, since that time, the term diversity, equity, and inclusion has really been in the spotlight. But the fact that we started these conversations before that point says to me something I think we already know in our hearts. This topic has been important for a very long time. I hope the song provides an avenue for discussion and acceptance in your choir room and the school and the neighborhood, town, city, state, the entire country, and really the entire world. We all have a place. We're all human beings and we all fit in, each and every one.
so much. Thank you, Pam, for your leadership and for your wonderful story. A Blessing Called Sanctuary by Jan Richardson. You hardly knew how hungry you were to be gathered in, to receive the welcome that invited you to enter entirely. Tentative steps became settling in. We're in various stages of that, aren't we? Some of us are still in tentative steps. Some of us are settled in. You began to breathe again. You learned to sing. But the deal with this blessing is that it will not leave you alone. Will not let you linger. This blessing will ask you to leave. Not because it is tired of you, but because it desires for you to become the sanctuary that you have found. This blessing, not because it is tired of you, but because it desires for you to be the sanctuary that you have found. The other day, I was too sick to write, so I snuggled down with my cat and my phone, and I watched reels. The first one was of a street busker. The clip showed him singing, "I Will Always Love You," while holding the hand of a little girl with Down syndrome. The song was sung with absolute perfection. I mean perfection. He held that little girl's hand, and at one point he got down on one knee, singing to her. She moved and swayed and extended her arms when the high notes were heard. Next there came a reel of Idina Menzel, who sang, what? Frozen. She sang it with a group of school children all around her. She was at a performance, and she was speaking to young audiences, going around the country to speak to young audiences. She had invited them up on the stage with her. This is in 2017. She offered the mic to one of the children, and he was actually the only boy-looking person in that whole group, as if you saw the longer shot. And there was the beginnings of the song, "Let It Go," and she's like, "Do you know what song it is?" And he goes, "Let it go." And she said, "Well, oftentimes when I introduce this song, boys say, I like the troll song better." So she invited him to sing. They belted that song out so well that, Julia, you would have been tracking them down to sing in the choir. I was so intrigued that I followed a link in the comments, and the comments can be scary, to find out where that singer is now. They're singing so beautifully. I can send out a link to this reel, I think. Luke Chikow is now an 18-year-old musician from Arlington, Texas. The clip went viral when he was invited up. Luke's sudden internet fame, this is from their page, landed them an appearance on The Ellen Show, and they provided Luke with a platform to shine a light on the effects of bullying, which they had endured and ultimately overcome. Luke has performed around the country at special events and has been given the opportunity to hear from other young people about their experiences, to advocate for youth, mental health awareness, and the importance of being your authentic self. At age 13, Luke was given the opportunity to be one of the Boys and Girls National Club Youth Talent Ambassadors. Yes, and it's so exciting that we want to get excited about that. In this role, Luke performed in front of A-list celebrities and business and political influencers. Luke came out to their family about 4 years ago and eventually found a new platform to advocate for LGBTQIA youth and people of color as a Human Rights Campaign youth ambassador. Luke has already used their voice to speak about issues facing LGBTQAI youth and mental health awareness to organizations like the National Education Association and the Center for Disease Control. As you can imagine, Luke writes music from a very personal space. Their own struggles with being an LGBTQA youth and mental health issues. They graduated a whole year earlier at a self-paced early graduation school in hopes to work on their career full-time. And this is from Luke's page, their website, and I listened to the songs, and Julia, you still might want to track them down. And they might want to come from Texas. Now, the other thing that I did was I looked at some of the other comments. And we all know that reading the comments is often an iffy enterprise. Among those comments, though, mostly I heard people celebrating Luke and using their correct pronouns. I was heartened. And then I got to the comment that said, we're praying he accepts Jesus. And a reply came back, Jesus accepts him. Use of the wrong pronoun notwithstanding, I was glad to see that. And I restrained myself from making any comment about the Jesus that the first commenter had. These 2 short reels showed a snippet of humanity, 2 people, many whose identities have been mocked and denigrated and blamed for their very existence. I'm reflecting on this when DEI is being used to divide the country, and the sin behind all the so-called evils of our country, including being blamed by the leader of this country for a tragic airplane and helicopter crash. Shame. Shame on you. The Defense Intelligence Memo calls for the termination of all discriminatory programs, including illegal DEI and diversity and equity, including accessibility mandates, policies, programs, preferences, and activities in the federal government. That's a quote. The so-called president also signed an executive order specifically targeting DEI employees and activities in the military. Also, there are observances that employees are no longer supposed to recognize with office activities or events. I am going to name them. MLK birthday, which is a national holiday, so it'll be, government offices will be closed, but it can't be recognized. Black History Month, Women's History Month. By the way, happy Black History Month, y'all. Women's History Month, Holocaust Days of Remembrance, Asian American, Pacific Islander Heritage Month, Pride, Juneteenth, Women's, also a holiday. Women's Equality Day, National Hispanic Heritage Month, National Disability Employment Awareness Month, National American Indian Heritage Month. And then for the briefest time, the Tuskegee Airmen and women Air Force pilots were removed from the training videos, but restored after a backlash. These were the black service people during World War II. We know that DEI encompasses a range of factors related to human identity, like race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, disability, religion, socioeconomic status, and more. Now, you may have only thought of DEI as applying to hires or to people of color, because that's what often gets noticed and targeted, but others have been targeted as well, as you know. These initiatives aim to promote fair treatment and full participation of all individuals, particularly those with historically underrepresented or facing discrimination based on their identity. Essentially, what DEI does is it creates an environment where everyone feels valued, respected, and included regardless of their difference. Now, make no mistake about it. There have been people even who support DEI who have some adjustments or criticisms or ways to see it work better. But no one who proposes or supports DEI is advocating for anything near what has been done. The United States could be a multicultural, multiracial democracy. In fact, we were on our way. The only multiracial, multicultural democracy in the world. That in itself is a threat. It's a threat to white supremacy, and it's the result of a zero-sum game mentality, where there's winners and there's losers, where if there's more people have access to the pie, that means there's no more pies, and certain people will not get their share. We are multicultural. We are multiracial as a country. We are hoping to restore the possibility of that democracy flourishing in one way or another. And that's what brings us into these spaces. There are those who are threatened with that, an evident lack of understanding last year by the shadow president, Elon Musk, who asserted DEI is just another word for racism. Shame on anyone who uses it, he said, echoing another white billionaire. At this time, our commitment to diversity, equity, and radical inclusion as a congregation, as a denomination, and as a society is more important than ever, particularly when that commitment is acted upon. When we put our values out in the world, where we, put our money where our mouth is. When we've got Pledge coming up, you're going to have an opportunity to think about that. But when we act upon this, we insert ourselves into the public discourse. And there are things to do. We've talked about them over the past few weeks. Verna Mayers reminds us, diversity is being invited to the party. Inclusion is being asked to dance. Angel Kyoto Williams, a Black Buddhist teacher, says, inclusivity is not how do we make you part of who we are, but how do we become more of what you are. And we always remember the words of the venerated Audre Lorde. It is not our differences that divide us. It is our inability to recognize, accept, and celebrate those differences. It's a challenge, y'all. Someone pointed out to me a while back that, there are more homogenous democracies that don't seem to have some of the issues that we do. Homogeneity is comfortable, but it doesn't make us larger. Angela Davis said the other day, I said that like we had lunch, but we didn't. I saw her on a video. I know, we have to become larger in this time, more expansive, move out of our comfort zones. And don't worry, the zone's there when you need to come back and breathe, and we're going to do a little bit of that today. The Unitarian Universalist Association, from its document, Widening the Circle of Concern, says this: we rarely seek to return to the literal Unitarianism or Universalism of the 17th century, except in the broadest sense. That is because the influx of other voices, including the early women ministers, the transcendentalists, the humanists, the feminists, people from earth-centered and other traditions, have enhanced our faith. In the same way, embracing diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the spiritual disciplines they require will further enrich us. Now, they're speaking here about the UUA. I say it enriches us in our congregation, in our individual lives, in our congregations, and also in the wider world. That tapestry, that beautiful tapestry of color and interest and texture I like a plain blanket, but I also really love the colors that make up a rich, warm, challenging, beautiful tapestry of faith in the world. Our witness, beloved, outside, out loud, is crucial in these times because each and every one of us adds to the beautiful mosaic that inclusion brings us. We live love through the practice of inclusion. And our umbrella is big.
There's always a lot going on around the church because we've got a big umbrella. And you can read all about it in News and Notes, which arrives in your inbox every Friday, and there are some printed copies available in the back. If you would like to receive News and Notes, stop by the welcome desk and sign up. I do have a couple of announcements I want to share. Green Sanctuary will hold a seed exchange and planting workshop today at noon in the Joshi Auditorium in the RE building just across the way. If you brought plant seeds, great, but we have plenty. Learn about planting seeds in the winter, get your hands dirty, and go home with seeds and planters that can go outside for a head start on the season. That's noon today in Joshi. And also, join an upcoming UCH call to action by the Immigrant Justice Team meeting today at 1 o'clock in Joshi after the Native Plant event. A light lunch will be served. This is obviously an incredibly important and timely meeting. You will learn about who needs help, what congregations can do to help, because if you're like me, you feel pretty helpless right now, and what training and supports are available. There are things that we can do, and we can learn about these things this afternoon at 1 o'clock. Our financial contributions to this congregation help write the stories we want to tell each other and to tell the world. We are so grateful for this and commit together to ensure the funds we gather collectively do a greater good for ourselves and our world. Now let there be an offering to sustain and grow the life and mission of this congregation. May we thereby write the story of love and hope. Please join us in our offertory words. This church is made up of all of us. It is what we learn together, the work we do together, the fun we have together. It is what we share with one another, with the people around us, and with all the world.
sometimes I just like to let the notes sit in my body and fill my cells. I invite you to just take a breath with me and consider what it is that calls us and brings us into spaces like this, knowing that there is a longing in our hearts and in our world for peace, for justice, for hope. So the choir is going to help us put peace into each other's hands. Thank you, choir. invite you to just take another breath with me. And as you do, consider what it is that you brought with you today. All of you. Your joys, your sorrows, your hopes, your dreams, worries. And this is a time in our service where we will share our joys and sorrows with one another. You can drop a pebble in silence, knowing that each of the pebbles is unique as you are. You can come up and share briefly, or you can hold those joys and sorrows in your hearts. I'm going to invite you up.
There we go. My pebble is, I thought Alex was maybe stopping this announcement. My pebble is a joy. Our younger son, Ben, turned 18 on Thursday.
I'm Tony. Joy today. If you want to go visit my mom in rehab, you won't find her there. She's out. She's living with us in our home in Elmhurst, so my address is in the directory, and more information to follow.
Hi, I'm David. My joy is amidst the sorrow of the executive orders that have been coming out. I work at Rush University System for Health in the marketing department, and I'm pleased to say that Rush is not, it's the most diverse place I've ever worked. Our DEI up the wazoo, and we're not, unlike Northwestern, on Monday they scrubbed every mention of DEI from their website, and out of fear that funding is going to be cut, and Rush is not changing anything. So.
Good morning, my name is Antonio. I want to take this opportunity to remember my late wife, Katie, that most of you knew, as tomorrow will be 4 years since she passed away.
Could take any.
My name is Joe. This is a pebble of appreciation and thanks to Reverend Beth, Ron Solberg, and Jean Schaefer for giving audio to my video.
Yes. Jean did a lot of work. Jean's responsible as well. Very much. Go ahead.
My name is Kathy, and in the last few weeks, I've become a great-grandmother. And my concern is that my friend, who is 88, has contracted norovirus, and he already had ulcerative colitis. So I'm hoping he'll be all right. Forgot my pen. There's a nice one.
There you go.
Hi, I'm Jill. I have two sorrows today. One for my friend Jessica, who unfortunately just lost her husband. He worked for CBS and he went missing, and they just recovered him this week. So my heart goes out to her and Kevin Spencer. So this is for you, Kevin. And then this morning I found my best friend Jay. His mother was rushed to the hospital this morning. She's in her mid-90s, but very vivacious, very part of the community, and she was rushed to the hospital this morning. My heart is breaking right now, not knowing how she's doing. So this is for Iris Duke. So get well soon, Iris. Thank you.
Good morning. My name's Kathy Fulser. I'm going to drop 2 stones. The first one is for my friend Cheryl, who lost her father about a week and a half ago. The second stone is a joy. It's for my husband Jeff Look and I, who are now officially members. I'm sorry I wasn't here for the service last week, but thank you.
Hi, I'm Matt. I have a joy that I finally have a diagnosis for the chronic shoulder pain I've had for the last 2 years. So it's going to be a while before any of that resolves, but it's exciting to have movement.
Thank you. Yes. Yes, absolutely. And these are there's not enough for the loss of life or the tragic plane and helicopter crash. For all those joys and sorrows, those spoken and unspoken, will you hold with me a moment of silent reflection? Spirit of life, Spirit of love, Holy One, moving in, through, and among us, we pause in this moment, holding all that has been spoken and all that is being held in people's hearts, minds, and bodies. As we move through this day and through this week, may each and all remember that there is a love holding you. There is a love holding all that you love. We're grateful for that. I'm grateful for the opportunity of community. And in this time, beloved, know this. You are always and everywhere held in love and mystery deeper than you can know. In a moment, we're going to sing a song inviting us to remember that change happens and openings occur. The song we're about to sing, I Know This Rose Will Open, is by UU minister Mary Grigiolia. Mary talked about the origin of her song, her process of writing it, and what it meant for her. She was in seminary taking a class on death and dying, and the assignment for the class was to write their own eulogy. And so, being a composer, Mary got ready, she writes, to write her song. She was going to do it as a song. And she got all ready. She got her pen and her paper and her journal, and she sat outside and under a Meyer lemon tree, she says, in the backyard, ready for and courting inspiration, she says, that she spent several hours journaling and grateful for the beauty of the afternoon, but no music came, she said. None, not a note. Scooping up everything, accepting the folly of my presumption, she writes, as I was balancing the tray and coming through the door, yes, literal liminal experience, I realized I was singing under my breath. And it was the whole round, complete. She says, what I take from this experience is the great responsiveness of the universe, spirit, deep and creative self. When we allow ourselves to be present, to listen, to sing along, but not to assume that we can control the scope or the view. She writes, I know this rose will open is the answer to my invitation to the deep self, the way I hear, feel it. I am the rose. Opening is in my nature. Even when it comes time to let go of this body practice, I know this rose will open. Although I may feel afraid of the changes, afraid of the unknown I can't control, afraid of allowing the ego to follow the calling of something deeper, I know those fears will burn away in the fire of transformation. This very physical practice of loving, living, letting go. It is the fire of transformation. As my fears burn away, she says, I know. I trust that the wings of my heart, my soul, will unfurl their wings. I know this rose will open. I am the rose. We are all the rose opening. May we trust the opening. I invite you to sing with me. We'll sing it through about 3 times. Before we close, I invite us to revisit the Celtic Wheel of the Year to honor Imbolc, the Celtic festival following the winter solstice, the time of initiation, creativity, and resilience. Imbolc translates into in the belly, or ewe's milk, and falling between the solstice and the spring equinox. This is when the ewes were beginning to lactate. It sometimes is seen as ewe's milk. It's the liminal time that marks the stirring beneath the frozen ground here, even though it is warm, as the lambs are born and the days grow longer visibly. For the ancient Celts, this was a time of hope and preparation for the coming spring. It's no surprise then that Brigid, a goddess so deeply tied to life and renewal, was celebrated during this festival. Brigid is a multifaceted goddess, embodying aspects of learning, poetry, healing, fertility, and the smith arts. A wide array of roles positioned her as a key figure in Celtic society. She was seen as the bringer of civilization, credited in many ways in fostering skills and knowledge that uplifted her people in many ways. Brigid is not just a goddess, but a symbol of human ingenuity and resilience. Imbolc is a time of initiation, making it a threshold time. It is a time of resilience. We're pausing amidst all of the news and the executive orders and all the things, knowing our rose will open, our fears can burn away, and we take time and a break to be and to breathe and to honor this sacred time. I'm inviting you into a practice that is indeed sacred to me. We can use poetry to access our creativity and our healing so that what needs to continue in us is birthed and be inspired, reaching beyond the pool that goes beyond ourselves to the collective unconscious. The wisdom of many, even when individuals access it, it goes beyond the ego. It's a time for depth as we prepare for the increasing light and the coming of spring, even though it may seem far off. I'm going to invite you into a ritual partly developed by my colleague, Dan Schatz, who's a minister, and then a blessing. I'm going to invite Susan up to light our candles. You're going to be invited into this blessing of candles, and after each candle, I invite you to repeat the words, "We light this candle." In just a moment, in honor of Imbolc, of Candlemas, of rising hope, in honor of the flame of bonfires and the flame of a single wick, in honor of Bridget and the divine feminine, in honor of small creatures who brave the winter, we light these candles. A flame of warmth to sustain us through the cold months still ahead, we light this candle. A flame of hope for the days to come, we light this candle. A flame of compassion that we may give to ourselves and one another in our chalice flame, we light this candle. We let them burn in the community of quietness. And beloveds, it is okay to be quiet right now. We began with words and songs and energy, and that is good, and I hope that carries you through. But I also invite you during this time, this liminal time, because we're all in liminal time. I think even in spring and summer, we're going to be in liminal time. So whatever practice nurtures your soul, light a candle, journal, take a walk, sing, dream, and allow yourself to be brought into a place of groundedness so that we are not distracted, but that we are centered in the practices that bring us into the fullness of our humanity and allows us to see the humanity in others and to work for that humanity. This is a blessing by the Reverend Kendall Gibbons. Blessed be the sacred fire that lives deep within each of us. May we cherish its light. Blessed be all that is contained and enclosed. Blessed be this time of isolation so that we may share health. Blessed be the future that grows protected within the womb. Blessed be the milk that is prepared to nurture new life. Bridget, ancient spirit of the Imbolc season, bless our hearth fires and our homes with warmth and love. Bridget, ancient spirit of the Imbolc season, bless our hearth fires, our homes with warmth and love. And let there be mercy for those who are without. Bless the risk of birth by which life continues. Let there be pity when it goes awry and solace for its losses. Bless the tools of our labor and the transforming heat of the forge. May justice be the anvil on which our days are wrought. Bless these candles that connect us to one another in community. Remind us all that flame is your flame, that flame is all one, that even when we're separated, we are not alone. Amen, and blessed be. Let us nurture the spirit of renewal and embrace the lengthening light, embrace the light of the lengthening days. I invite you to join me in our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of its truth, the warmth of this community, nor the fire of our commitment. These we carry in our hearts and share with all the world. Because we know this, beloved, if there's one thing that we know, is that life calls us on. So I invite you to sing with me. Enough said.